you doing? Being a safe driver.
Congratulations.
This is a bowling trophy.
Yeah, it's the biggest one they had.
Okay, thanks.
Oh, and a good one.
Oh, it's a great day to kick off SEC regular season baseball, and it's a dynamite matchup. Defending national champs, the Ole Miss Rebels, here at Hawkins Field to take on the Vanderbilt Commodores, a top 6 showdown coming your way in a matter of moments. And a pleasant good evening, everybody. I'm Dave Neal. This is former Stanford All-American and big leaguer Kyle Peterson. Glad you could join us as we kick off this 2023 season. And for Ole Miss, KP, you win the national championship, all the celebration, and your reward is you get to open up here in Nashville against the 6th-ranked team in the country. But nonetheless, man, you can tell everybody's excited about this.
Yeah, I mean, this is, yet again, welcome to the SEC. This is just the way it rolls in this league. And for these two teams, both top 10 coming in, so obviously a chance for both of them to end up in Omaha. So we got 2 top 10 teams. We got 2 top 10 players, too. Yeah. 2 that could end up going top 10 in the overall draft here in a few months. Jacob Gonzalez, Enrique Bradfield Jr., Gonzalez at short, and Bradfield, the all-everything center fielder for Vanderbilt. Combined, almost 300 games that they've played in the 3 years that they've been at each school. A little bit different game. Gonzalez with a little bit more power. 321 career hitter for Jacob Gonzalez. Enrique Bradfield Jr. After a year, we went 46 for 46 in stolen bases. Has now gone over the century mark since he's been in college.
46 for 46. I'm guessing that's pretty good.
Decent.
Yeah, decent start for Enrique Bradfield here in 2023 as well. And as we open up conference play, obviously the preseason rankings just littered with top SEC teams in the top 25. As you look at the D1Baseball.com top 10 as we get things rolling along, and they're just littered in that as well. LSU and Tennessee, the top 2 spots, followed by Ole Miss, and there is Vanderbilt at number 6. Going to be a great race all the way to Hoover for the SEC championship.
It's 6 of the top 7. 6 of the top 7 right now in the D1 poll. And who'd have thought that the one that isn't is Wake Forest. Wake Forest from the ACC is at a great start. Now it's 16-2. As the ACC enters their 2nd week of conference play this weekend.
Well, both these teams have had some challenging schedules to get them ready for SEC play. Mike Bianco and Tim Corbin have been around a long time. Look at those career wins for those 2 guys. They're closing in on 1,000.
Yeah, look at that. Between them, a combined 1,700 wins at their 2 schools. That's most in program history and most in program history. And it usually means, man, if you do that in this league for that long, you're a little bit different than everybody else, because that just doesn't happen here.
It's the first time Ole Miss has been here in Nashville since 2018. And the guy that gets the ball for the Vanderbilt Commodores, boy, had a fantastic freshman season. Carter Holton returns as a sophomore, 1-0 on the year.
Yeah, he did. It's rare that you'll see a freshman in the starting rotation for basically the entire season for Vanderbilt. That was Carter Holton last year, and now he's squarely in that ace role. The left-hander's going to show you a fastball that'll get into the low 90s. Average fastball velocity this year has been about 93 for Holton. He'll elevate it, too. Different approach to righties and lefties, and you'll see it as it goes over. He's picked up a slider, so more sliders to left-handers and more curveballs to right-handers. But for Holton, when it's right, it's an elevated fastball that he'll get a lot of swing and miss on.
Yep. A preseason All-American for his efforts a year ago. He'll face a Ole Miss lineup that has been swinging it as well as anybody in America. And it starts at the top. Jacob Gonzalez has just been a tremendous. He and Ethan Groff, who transferred in, those 2 have kind of alternated between 1 and 2. They kind of get things going. But Kemp Alderman is the guy, the X factor that can change a game with 1 swing.
Yeah, it's loud when it comes off of that bat. When he gets it, you will know it. For this Ole Miss team, they've hit 33 home runs, and 7 of the 9 in this starting lineup hitting well above 300. They can swing it.
Well, this Vanderbilt defense looks like this around the infield. As you look at Davis Diaz over at third base. Vestine is at short. R.J. Austin, the freshman, gets the start at second base. Parker Nolan at first. In the outfield, it's Polk, Enrique Bradfield Jr., and R.J. Schreck, another transfer who has come in here and played really well. And behind the plate, Calvin Harris will catch the pitches of one Carter Holton. It is a great day. However, not necessarily a great day for the guy on the mound as the wind is blowing out around 10 to 15 miles an hour. BP was interesting today.
Yeah, it was jumping. If you had stands duty today during BP and you were in charge of getting the home runs, you weren't bored, that's for sure. It'll fly tonight if it gets up in the air.
said Harris behind the plate. Jack Bolger behind the plate. Got my catchers mixed up there for a minute. Jack Bolger will catch the first pitch here from Carter Holton. And it's in there for a strike. And there is Jacob Gonzalez. 365 on the year already, a couple of home runs. Looks at another strike. The junior out of Glendora, California, started every game of his career at shortstop. That was 65 starts a year ago. Hit 273, but I think what jumped off and really put him on the radar of a lot of big league teams was the 18 home runs.
Yeah. It's elite bat to ball skills. There is not a lot of swing and miss. That was on cue.
Well done, KP.
But for Gonzalez over the course of the season, that's just his 10th strikeout. He's walked 17 times. All fastballs in this at bat. Maybe not quite as high as Holton wanted it right there, but in a good spot. He's going to work glove side fastball to lefties, arm side fastballs to righties, and a good start for the sophomore.
3 pitches and a strikeout. 4 pitches and another swing and a miss. Ethan Groff comes to the plate. A Tulane transfer who was just destroying the baseball a year ago at Tulane. Then got hurt late in the year, broke his hand, but was hitting .400 with 9 homers and had 17 multi-hit games before that injury. 1-2. Boy, right down the middle.
95 with a fastball right there. That's all he's thrown so far. It was all fastballs to Gonzalez, all fastballs right there to Groff. And that one goes glove side and locked him up on the inside part of the plate. Early signals from Carter Holton are pretty darn good.
The 3-hole hitter Calvin Harris strolls to the plate. And another strike. Boy, talking to Scott Brown, the pitching coach, before the game today, he was talking about Carter Holton and just needs to be more efficient. I would say this is about as efficient as you could be to start a game.
Yeah, that was one of the things he was talking about, is every once in a while there's a waste pitch that'll happen a few times during the course of the game that doesn't necessarily need to be there. He's locked in so far. 10 pitches, 10 fastballs, and up to 95.
That one just up and away a bit. So says home plate umpire Kevin Sweeney.
Good spot for an 0-2.
Yep. Fouled that one back. Well, that's a good take by Calvin Harris.
That looked like the slider that just missed off, but again, exactly where he was trying to go with it.
To the right side, right underneath the glove of R.J. Austin out into right field. So a nice at-bat by Calvin Harris, and he stands on first with 2 out.
Yeah, and the freshman R.J. Austin had him shaded that way too. Was playing pretty deep into, probably 10 steps off of what would be the infield dirt. This one had a little bit of topspin though. I think he thought it was going to carry a little bit further. Didn't. Shoots under his glove. It's the first hit of the day for the Rebels.
Calvin Harris has now reached base in 9 straight games. And here's a dangerous man, Kemp Alderman, the left fielder. Swings and misses on pitch number 1. His numbers are just gross. First of all, 6'3", 250. He's an animal at the plate. But he's .391 with 8 homers already. Lifts that one high in the air down the right field line. R.J. Schreck has room and will make the catch, and Alderman is retired. So 1 hit, 1 runner left. We'll move to the bottom of the first on the other side of it.
With your feet on the air and your head on the ground. Try this trick and spin it
Scoreless after a half inning, moving to the bottom of the first here at Hawkins Field in Nashville, Tennessee. Dave Neal and Kyle Peterson as we kick off the SEC baseball season. And Jack Doherty, a lot of folks didn't have him penciled in as your opening night starter on the weekend, but due to an injury, he is now your guy.
Yeah, Hunter Elliott was the ace of this Ole Miss staff. They're hoping they can get him back maybe middle of April. Right now, just starting a throwing progression. But Jack Doherty, who's kind of filled a lot of roles since he's been there at Ole Miss, now trying to fill that role of an ace. ERA's inflated, but it hadn't been very long. He's going to throw a ton of fastballs. And that's generally what Doherty will do.
Well, the Vanderbilt lineup, as has been the case over the years, will feature Enrique Bradfield at the top of the lineup. Average not where he wants it to be for sure at 232, but Jack Bolger coming off a nice night on Tuesday against Belmont with 4 hits and has scored a run in 3 straight games. Defensively for Ole Miss, Calvin Harris now behind the plate. Hayden Dunhurst anchored that spot a year ago. He had to wait his time, but now Calvin Harris gets to catch the pitches of Jack Doherty. Leger's over at third to transfer in. Gonzalez and Chatinier at second base. Anthony Calarco, also new to this Ole Miss lineup, at first. Kemp Alderman, Ethan Groff, and T.J. McCants out in the outfield for the Rebels. First pitch to Bradfield. And a kick right out of the gate by Chatinier. That is his first error of the season.
That's the first error of the middle infield the entire year. Gonzalez doesn't have any errors at shortstop. This is what speed does, though. It makes everybody play a little bit faster than they want to. Bradfield is as fast as anybody in the entire country. Chatinier had to go a little bit quicker than he wanted to. That one crawls up on his glove, and now with Bradfield standing at first base, everybody is aware.
And the school's all-time leading base stealer over at first as Davis Diaz swings and fouls that one back. Davis, the third baseman for the Commodores, hitting .231 with a couple of homers and 13 runs batted in on the year.
Think about this. Before that error, Ole Miss came into this game field .986. And 2 of those errors are throwing errors by their catcher, Calvin Harris. I mean, they have defended as well as just about anybody in the country so far.
Errors happen, KP, but from a pitcher standpoint, when you make an error with a guy like Bradfield, I mean, going through your mind, are you like, what are we doing?
Well, it gets you in the stretch right away, which, you know, most guys would rather go out of the windup. But Bradfield changes the game so much when he is on base. And it's not just because he might steal. That's a great outcome if you're Vanderbilt. It's because now you got to go quicker on the mound. And now maybe you're going to throw a few more fastballs because you don't want to give him a breaking ball and give him an extra step out to second base. It changes the entire complexity of the game.
Fastball in there for a strike at 92 miles an hour. I just know errors happen, right? As a pitcher, you got to deal with them. But this particular error seems like it has
rather it
more
be to a slow guy.
Right. You see where Bradfield ranks in the list. Our boy Chris Burke sitting there in the 4 spot with 124 stolen bases.
He'll go flying right by Berkey. It's my old A-ball roommate Chad Green with 2 stolen bases ahead of Berkey.
Boy, when Chris Burke was teamed with Stevie Daniel at Tennessee. Throw back to first again. Close play.
He took that stutter step towards second right there. Bradfield with a great lead. Great lead, man. If you take a stutter step, still have the ability to just get back in. That's right where he wants to be.
Well, it's. I just remember this watching Deion Sanders when he was with the Atlanta Braves. He would not necessarily steal the base, but he would disrupt
everybody.
An entire inning. Right. Everybody is now messed up. You're doing things you normally wouldn't do. Now in the big leagues, he'd be taken off now after 3 throws over to first.
Yeah, I don't like that part of that rule. I mean, it feels like it could really give base stealers an advantage.
Check swing, fouls it back, stays 2-2. Another throwback. Well, they were wearing out Bradfield. Already some stressful pitches for Jack Doherty. Oh, getting closer.
It is, but I mean, the best base stealers are great at figuring out exactly how far they can get off. That is a great lead. When the guy on the mound is aware how far off you are, because that's the one thing, man. When you look down, you can tell if a guy's off a little bit further than most. And Bradfield challenges you because he's out there further than most are going to be when they're standing at first base, but he still has the ability, unless he stutter steps and it's a really good move, but he's got the ability to get back.
Popped him up. That's going to get out of play. Bradfield this year, by the way, 12 out of 15. He's been caught 3 times after a successful campaign last year where he was 46 out of 46.
I remember Berkey saying last year, if he's 46 of 46, and he should be stealing more. You got to get thrown out sometimes.
He hit .317 with 8 homers last year, did Bradfield Jr. That's going to drop in. They were playing deep. Groff will come in, catch it on the short hop, and they'll have him at the corners with nobody out.
Pretty good at bat right there by Davis Diaz. Got a fastball that he could handle and had an outfield, like you said, Dave, that was playing really deep. So gets in on his hands a little bit. The read by Bradfield almost took place before he even started to run into second. When he peeks and sees how deep the center fielder is, Ethan Groff, there is no stopping him from going first to third. So an error gets Bradfield on. Now goes first to third on the single, and Vandy's got some action here in the first.
Nobody out for R.J. Schreck, the right fielder. Smokes it, glove, double play ball. How about that? A line drive snagged by Calarco, who happened to be standing right on top of the bag, and they double up Diaz.
If they're not holding Diaz on, which obviously you're going to in this situation every time, this ball's down the line and it's extra bases. But the only reason Calarco has the ability to make that play is because he's holding the base runner on and didn't get too far off. Snags it right there, and the hardest hit ball of the inning goes for a double play, and now Jack Doherty's a pitch away from getting out of it.
This is a crazy, cruel game sometimes. I mean, Schreck has to be thinking double down the line with an RBI, maybe 2. Instead, it's a double play, and Jack Bolger comes up with 2 down.
Well, there's nothing Diaz could do on first base.
Just off the plate. Bolger hitting .226. That one just misses.
Looked like they were trying to go in right there, too. Calvin Harrison's up reaching across the plate. Vandy's got to get Bolger going for this offense, and I think for this team to really make a run this year. Bolger has to be more offensive than he has been.
Lifts it high in the air. Groff will shade to his right, make the catch. So the Enrique Bradfield reaching first, no damage done after the double play. We are scoreless after 1.
About 25,000 in the College World Series Finals. Deep to right field. Gone! The Rebels lead.
Oh my, did things just change real quickly here.
Crosses up the catcher to the plate. Ole Miss leads. Wow. How about the roller coaster of the last 3 innings? 1-2 pitch. Struck him out. Ole Miss has won the college.
That was it. The scene in Omaha last year. One of the great stories in college baseball in a long, long time. The Ole Miss Rebels winning that national championship. They finished up 42-23 as Chatinier steps in to face Holton.
The last team in the field for Mike Bianco's club last year, and then the last team standing at the end for all the great years that Ole Miss had and all the times that they've hosted Supers. I don't know if you necessarily thought at the end of the season that would be the team that would win the first national championship, but man, it was a loaded top-to-bottom offense.
You saw the last 5. That one's popped up to the right side and should be an easy play for Shrek, and it is. 1 down. But, you know, in those last 5 years, Oregon State's the only one that has broken the streak of SEC teams. And really, Arkansas was a pop-up away that dropped in foul territory from making
Game
a
2.
clean sweep of national championships. The SEC has won 8 of the last 12 and 4 of the last 5. No repeat natties since South Carolina did it, 2010 and 11.
Last year, Rosenblatt, first year at Charles Schwab.
Check swing for Anthony Calarco.
It's interesting. Holton had been really fastball heavy. Now the first 2 to Calarco in this at bat, both breaking balls. First 3.
Well, how about that? He was so heavy fastball, and then all of a sudden comes out with the spinner.
Left on left, I got one of these too. And Carter Holton has the A stuff so far tonight. He's already punched out 3, and he's only faced 6. 2 of them looking. Groff earlier on a fastball, Calarco this time on a breaking ball.
Holton has at least 7 Ks in 3 straight starts. Looks like he might get there tonight if he keeps going this way. Reagan Burford, the junior, out of Germantown, Tennessee, getting the start as a designated hitter. His 3rd start of the year, 1 for 5 overall this year. That one's lifted up out of play. Good crowd on hand tonight.
So pitch clock now. They've talked about it plenty at the major league level. Now it's there in college baseball as well. I can tell you this, though, when Carter Holton's throwing, you can unplug the thing when he's out there, because that doesn't matter, man. He gets it and goes every single time. And our speed of games around college baseball has gone down to almost 15 minutes this year as opposed to last year. I don't think it's changed the game in a bad way at all. In fact, I think it's been real positive.
Holton stumbles on that pitch. It's fouled back to Burford. 3-2.
This probably, when they brought the pitch clock into existence, did you cry a little bit because you were so happy? This
it was
feels
an
like
emotional.
something
It was
that
an
would be
emotional time. It was
near to your heart.
I think I spent 45 minutes explaining to my wife just how important that was to my
mental well-being.
Yeah, just my everyday existence on this planet changed dramatically. There's the 3-2. Got him looking. Inning is over. Another strikeout for Carter Holton.
2 in the first, 2 of the second, 3 of the 4 so far have been looking. This time, glove side fastball just locks him up. Carter Holton with the good stuff so far. Still scoreless on the West End.
With your feet on the air and your head on the ground. Try this trick and spin it, yeah.
Next up.
Thank you.
Enjoy. Silverado and new Silverado HD. Choose your own path with the #1 best-selling retail full-size pickup and see where it takes you. Find new roads. It's Chevy truck season. Get 0% financing plus make no monthly payments for 90 days on all Silverado 1500 pickups and get $1,000 cash allowance on this Silverado with a turbo high output engine. See your Super Chevy dealers today.
The NCAA Women's Basketball Championship first round begins tomorrow morning, 11:30 Eastern Time. That's 9:30 out there on the Pacific Coast. Over on ESPN2, Marquette squares off against South Florida, followed by Georgia and Florida State at 3:30. Southern Utah takes on Notre Dame. Then it's Hawaii matched up against Angel Reese and LSU. All games also available on the ESPN app, so you can watch it anywhere. Already some big upsets in the NCAA men's tournament. Virginia going down.
Arizona going down.
Arizona went down to Princeton.
I continue my long-standing tradition of being horrible at picking brackets. At Arizona winning the whole thing.
I would have kept that to myself, I think.
I'm an open book, dude.
Bottom of the second. R.J. Austin, the freshman, steps up to the plate. Couple of home runs on the year, but a ground ball out to second base, and Chatinier makes the play, one down.
You look at these two offenses, and we talked Bulger just a little bit. Here's the biggest difference. Coming into this game, Ole Miss is slugging .577. Vandy's slugging .425. That is a massive difference, and I think that's the one thing to watch with Vanderbilt this year is those power numbers. And a lot of times they start coming up this time of year, but they got a ways to go.
Here's Chris Maldonado, the freshman. Of course, the younger brother of pitcher Nick Maldonado. Good to see Nick at the back end of this game if things play out. There's a strike, 1-1.
Nick's got his good stuff back.
Yeah.
He had some scuffles last year, but he's got his good stuff back this year. Has not given up an earned run in 7 appearances so far this year. Punched out 15, has walked just 2.
Doherty was one of those arms last year that kind of came together. That staff kind of came together second half of that season toward the end, and really in the postseason they were, I don't know what happened, but they were dominant from the get-go in the NCAA tournament.
Dylan DeLucia became a different guy in the second half of the year. And when you had DeLucia and Hunter Elliott continue to grow up his freshman season, then you had 2 real aces when they went into the postseason.
But it's just weird how it was a struggle early in the year, beginning of first half of the SEC. First half of the SEC slate.
Yeah.
It was, people were like, what's going on with Ole Miss? And to become so dominant, like they were. I was with them in the Super Regional at Southern Miss, and Southern Miss had a heck of a season, and that one will get out of play too.
They hammered them down there.
And it was shocking outcome.
What was Elko saying? Don't let the Rebs get hot?
Yeah. Said it a couple times.
Rebs got hot.
Yeah. Doing 2 on Maldonado. Hangs in there on a breaking pitch and fouls it back. Maldonado got off to a great start. 7 of his first 9 hits went for extra bases. 6 of those 7 hits were doubles. Good way to start your college career.
Yeah. Usually keep you in the lineup.
Fights it off. Little blooper. That one is going to drop. Maldonado's .333 average will tick up a few points after that base hit.
It was a pretty good pitch by Doherty, too. I mean, this one, they're trying to go in. You can see the glove of Calvin Harris, and it got off the barrel, in on the hands a little bit. It's one of the harder plays, too, for a corner infielder. When you see a big swing, like it was right there from Maldonado, first instinct is you think the ball's hit pretty well, but that one in on his hands wasn't hit well. Alderman couldn't get there, and Vandy has another hit.
And here's Parker Nolan. Slaps that one out to left. Alderman on the run. That one is out of here. Home run. Parker Nolan is second of the year, a 2-run shot.
There's the power that Vandy's looking for right here. So Parker Nolan takes a two-seam fastball outer third, maybe not exactly where Doherty wanted to throw it. It just rides the wind right out of here. Backspin to left center. Alderman thought maybe this ball had hit off the wall, but carries just above that 375 sign. Vandy's on the board first. The 2-run home run by Parker Nolan.
Boy, that was a laser.
Yeah.
They didn't think that they'd see Parker Nolan again, but returned for an extra year that he had available for plays like that. There's a strike to Matthew Polk out in left field tonight. A sophomore out of Long Beach, California. Another base hit, the fourth of the game for this Vanderbilt offense.
Bottom part of this lineup's having a good turn through right here. The freshman Maldonado with a 1-out single. Nolan goes deep, and now Matthew Polk, the sophomore, shoots a single to left. Third hit of the inning for Vandy.
That'll take us to the 9-hole hitter, Jonathan Vastine. He rips one. Boy, they are aggressive at the plate today against Jack Doherty.
Right from the jump, too. Bradfield was aggressive early. Diaz was aggressive early. Doherty's usually going to be around the zone, and Vandy's trying to take advantage of it.
Vastine at 279 on the year, 3 homers. He's been a swing and miss guy at the plate. He leads the team with 20 strikeouts at the plate this year. Polk 2 out of 2 and stolen bases. Ground ball to the right side. Chatinier had him played up the middle because of the runner, and that will get him at the corners with 1 out.
Doherty hadn't thrown too many changeups tonight. This was one right here, and Vastine out in front of it. It's elevated, though, and it makes it easier for that left-hander to keep the barrel in the zone just a little bit longer. Pulled to the side. Chatinier pinching him up the middle. That's now 4 straight hits for Vandy, and Matthew Polk on that one goes first to third easily. Vandy's done that a few times already, and a first trip to the mound by Mike Bianco.
Man, you get the ground ball to start the inning for the first out, and then it's been single, homer, single, single. And let's not forget R.J. Schreck laced one in the first inning that ended up being a double play with a runner on first. Calarco gloved it, stepped on the bag, and got the double play, but that ball was smoked by Schreck. One of the other issues that in conference play this year, coaches only have 30 seconds on a mound visit. I think there might be a little leeway, a few seconds here or there, just because it takes some coaches a few extra seconds to get out to the mound.
Yeah, the old slow walk doesn't work quite as well as it used to.
This is not a, you won't be calling this a Skip Bertman rule. Slowest walk to the mound in college baseball.
When he needed to.
Yeah. Throw down to second. That one hops up in the air, but right to Chatinier. Harris one-hopped it out there. Gonzalez off his wrist and popped up in the air.
See that from Bradfield? I think that was just to keep Harris back just a little bit so he couldn't come running out of there when Vastine was running out to second base. Clearly he's not trying to make contact. I think he's just trying to hold the catcher.
That one is fouled down the right field line. It'll stay 1-2 on Bradfield. Enrique's average certainly not where he wants it to be after that season last year where he had 317 after the first at bat. His average is now at 229 and swings and misses there. Reached on an error to start the game and strikes out here.
That time got the breaking ball from Doherty. He doesn't throw it a ton to left-handed hitters. He's way fastball heavy. That time the slider that Bradfield swings over the top of, and Doherty trying to get the Rebs back in the dugout and keep it just at 2.
Davis Diaz, the third baseman. Runners at second and third. Diaz singled his first time up. Average jumps to 242. Goes fastball in there for a strike. A lot of stressful pitches here through 2 innings for Jack Doherty. Working out of the windup. .35 pitches now for Doherty.
Good take right there by Diaz, because that was what he was trying to do. Elevate the fastball, maybe just up and out of the zone to see if he can get a swing and miss. 4 strikeouts so far for Carter Holton. Jack Doherty does not have a strikeout yet.
And that stat no longer exists. When breaking ball, got the strikeout.
Well, and
you call.
He struck the guy out before him too.
Yeah.
Check my math sometimes. Parker Nolan added to his home run total. Second of the year, a 2-run shot. It's got Vandy on the board, 2-0.
Well, you look on the left side of the screen, and that is the lineup they ran out there at the College World Series. And tonight it looks like this. And KP, I think getting 5 of 9 starters back in your lineup is a good head start to the next season.
Yeah.
Here's TJ McCann's first pitch, swinging high in the air, as that one is at the warning track by Enrique Bradfield Jr. Kept drifting out there, but 1 down.
Yeah, I mean, you lose Elko, which obviously was one of the hearts and souls of this team. Kevin Graham, who just hit the entire time that he was there. Justin Bench, the leadoff hitter. They're big parts of that offense last year. And then Hayden Dunhurst, who didn't have a great offensive year last year, but controlled a pitching staff as well as anybody in the entire country. Get a few transfers this year. Groff has been a big part of this offense. So is Calarco so far.
Ole Miss went to the transfer portal. Got a couple of guys to plug some holes. Here's Leger stepping in. Ethan transferred in from junior college. Well, you used to see a bunch of junior college kids, but not as many with the transfer portal. And that one is going to sting Leger.
I think it got him in the backhand.
Ugh.
Yeah, it did. It got him on the backhand that was on the top of that bat.
That is the 5th hit batter by Holton this year.
We talked about it. He's done a little bit more of that tonight than at least the numbers would say that he's done up to this point in the season, and that's against the right-handers try to crowd him with a fastball. 3 of the 4 strikeouts so far looking. There again, trying to go fastball inside, just held onto it a little bit too long.
So Ethan going to stay in the game, it appears. He had .399 last year in junior college, or he was a junior college All-American. Are they seeing if that ball hit the bat instead of the hand?
Yeah, that's the only thing I could think of. I don't know what else they would have looked at.
Oh, Vandy, I think that made a sound like it possibly hit the bat. And Vandy used a challenge and loses the challenge.
It clearly got him right on the fingers, that top hand.
Look, it didn't take him long on the review.
Piece.
How about the nice job of hitting by Gonzalez? They had the left side wide open, and he slaps it down the line for a double, and Ole Miss has him at second and third with 1 down. What a base hit by Jacob Gonzalez.
This kid is so good, and he just understands what they're trying to do. So shift on right here. And Gonzalez just takes advantage of it. He's got the entire left side of the infield, and they're playing him pretty straight up in the outfield. And that's what you see a lot of times with hitters, pull on the infield and straight up, and sometimes the other way in the outfield. But for Gonzalez, another double right there, and the Rebs trying to strike right back.
He's now reached base in all 18 games this year. Well, we've seen so many guys try to pull that off, and it hadn't worked, but it certainly looked great for Gonzalez. Here's Ethan Groff, swing and a miss. Out to center field. Bradfield backpedals, and will catch it at the track, and that'll get the first run in for Ole Miss. As Lejay touches home plate, Gonzalez winds up at third, and it's a 2-1 game now.
Well done by Ethan Groff right here. The transfer from Tulane. Plenty deep out there, wind or no wind. And Gonzalez tags from second base. He ends up at third right there on the long fly ball that gets the Rebels on the board here in the third.
Here's Calvin Harris, the catcher. There are a few things in sports I wouldn't want to do, like maybe wide receiver on a crossing route in the NFL, or maybe trying to set a screen on LeBron, or standing in as a left-handed hitter against Carter Holton would be another one.
Yeah, it's not a comfortable at bat for left-handers at all. Holton now back into the windup, and the first time he's gone 3-0 today.
His get me over fastball at 92 miles an hour. 3-1. Make it 3-2. Harris led the team in batting average last year at .336. It goes down to get that one and has a 2-out RBI single.
Well, you may not want to go up there left-handed, but Calvin Harris seems to be comfortable with it, more comfortable than most left-handers. Singled his first time up, and then this time 3-0 count, worked back to 3-2. Took a breaking ball right there too. It looked like a 3-2 slider that Harris stayed on. Just another part of this Ole Miss offense for a kid that was involved, especially late in the season last year offensively. Now he's running.
And he is in there safely. So a runner in scoring position now for Kemp Alderman.
That's going to be something to watch the rest of the game for Ole Miss, because Harris does not even have a stolen base attempt the entire season, but he gets on there with 2 outs. You got Alderman at the plate who can hit it over the basketball gym here if he gets a hold of one. But obviously they're going to take some chances on first base tonight.
That fastball at 95 misses down. Good job by Bulger behind the plate.
That's usually not the one you expect to be in the dirt. That fastball down in the dirt, never enough time to get over there and block it. Just kind of got to throw the glove at it.
Popped him up out of play. 1-2 the count to Alderman. 52 times last year got the start as a designated hitter. 11 homers, 45 runs batted in. Up and in. Mike Bianca was telling us earlier today, as we were kind of going over his roster, that he just hits the ball differently than most.
And this is just a comparison from a bat speed and the way the ball comes off the bat. It reminds me of Pete Alonso when he was at Florida. It's that type of sound. It's a different sound when Alderman hits it.
Ground ball back up the middle. Austin, no play. Knocked it down. Runners at the corners.
I would think that's a base hit. It's a play that the freshman R.J. Austin can definitely make. Pops out of his glove, and I think the one thing that you don't realize with Alderman, he's a pretty darn good athlete, man. He's big. I mean, he looks like a middle linebacker when he stands up there, but he can also move a little bit. Gets down the line right there, and Ole Miss keeps the line moving.
R.J., the freshman out of Atlanta, by way of Pace Academy. Here's Chatinier, hitting 5th in this lineup. 0 for 1, average at 361. Made an error earlier tonight, and it was his first error since February 22nd of 2022 against VCU. Over a year.
Well, it's not like he wasn't playing last year. I mean, he's played a ton for this Ole Miss team.
Carter Holton got in a little bit of trouble this inning, and Ole Miss has made him pay. He's fallen behind 2-0 to Chatinier in a 2-2 ball game. Well, he was laser focused.
First 2. Yeah, first 2 innings. And to McCants, I mean, he got McCants to fly out to center field. Guys can be different sometimes when you get them in the stretch. It's not as nearly as comfortable on that move to home plate. Chatinier in a 3-0 pitch right there, which looked like it was probably ball 4.
Yeah, one of the things that the Vandy staff was talking about is sometimes in these situations, Carter Holton speeds up.
And there's areas on the field that you would like people to speed up. The mound isn't necessarily one. Generally, when guys' minds start going a little bit quicker, movements to home plate go a little bit quicker, that's usually when fastball command goes away and that ball starts coming up in the zone.
The 3-2. Fouled back. We'll do it again. Boy, it's been a 26 pitch inning for Carter Holton. Popped him up. R.J. Austin says he has it, waves everybody off, and will make the catch. But a good rebound inning for Ole Miss. They gave up 2 and then answered with 2. That is our score. Calvin Harris with a big RBI single.
with your feet on the air and your head on the ground. Try this trick and spin it, yeah.
Next up.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
Where's my mind? Where's my mind?
Well, there's a lot of great players in college baseball, especially now that the COVID years allowed guys another opportunity. But here's what some of our experts, and I say that loosely.
Thank you.
You got Enrique Bradfield Jr.
I did. Yeah, I did. And obviously, I mean, we had 2 Bradfields, 2 Cruzes on that one. And Dylan Cruz has definitely had the upper hand on the numbers. And it's really not even close this year. Cruz is having an unbelievable year. Bradfield's going to get it going. I mean, he's too good. But offensively, it hadn't been there. I had to put Dolander in there as a sleeper. Mind you, I know there's a chance he could go #1 overall. That doesn't really sound like a sleeper. Nobody else would take a pitcher.
Well,
nobody.
Go figure that you would be the guy to do it, though. Shocking news. Here's R.J. Schreck to lead things off. Fouls that one off in that Vanderbilt dugout. Dylan Cruz is just, he's doing things to the baseball this year that are not allowed in many states and countries.
Yeah, that's a pretty loud offense in Baton Rouge, too.
Well, in a couple of weeks, Tennessee, the #2 team in America, heading to.
Yeah, we'll be down there.
Baton Rouge, yeah.
You're locked into the Tigers for the next 2 weeks after this.
Yeah, Arkansas going down there next weekend to take on LSU. This league, every year, I just start talking about the SEC as we look at this pitch one more time. And it is, you keep thinking it can't get better, but it seems like the amount of talent that has found its way into the Southeastern Conference this year is better than it's ever been.
It is way up there. I mean, we do that draft show every year, and you go in and you feel like you're already prepared for the draft show because we've done the SEC for the last 4 months. Right. We know half of them they're going to go already.
RJ 0 for 1. Fouls that one back. Boy, he had back-to-back homers against Nebraska a couple of weeks ago. Transfer in from Duke, a grad transfer, grew up in Los Angeles. For his career at Duke, hit .288 with 26 home runs. Fouls that one back, but had 18 of those as a junior.
It's a pretty important part of this offense. And this is not a Vanderbilt team that gets a lot of transfer portal kids. They just historically haven't and don't very often. But the graduate transfer from Duke has been a great fit on a team that needed a little bit more offense.
So I love how this plays out. So you get your undergrad from Duke, and then you come to Vandy and get work on whatever kind of postgraduate degree you'd like. That's a nice little combo right there.
Decent college experience right there.
Not to mention somebody else is paying for it.
Yeah.
Oh, nice off-speed pitch, and Schreck with a strikeout on a 3-2.
It's like Doherty went back to the slider right there. Gets in a 3-2 count. Oh, it's a slider to changeup. Even a changeup, whatever it was, though. It looks like a strike long enough. Schreck all the way out in front. That's now 3 straight strikeouts for Jack Doherty.
Let's not forget it's the top 3 guys in this Vanderbilt lineup as well. They got Bradfield and Diaz to end the inning in the second. Starts it off with Schreck, the 3-hole hitter, and now as Jack Bolger steps in. There's a strike. Olger, the junior from Maryland. Lifts that one high in the air to right. TJ McCants on the run will make the catch. The former center fielder now in right field. And that'll be out number 2. Well, over on ABC on Saturday, it's time for a little NHL. Matchup is the second game of back-to-back at Madison Square Garden between the Pens and the Rangers. Coverage begins at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. It's also available over on ESPN+. That'll be Saturday on ESPN, on ABC and ESPN+. Here is R.J. Austin. Little slow roller off the end of the bat. R.J., a freshman out of Atlanta. He too had back-to-back homers and at-bats against Maryland back on March 4th. Played for USA Baseball under-18 team. Coach Corbin says he's just fearless. He says reminiscent of a player back in the 70s. They were fearless in the 70s. I guess he was talking guys like Pete Rose.
Yeah. You know, that was the fearless game.
It was. You left Stanford in '97?
Yeah.
So it wasn't the 90s.
No.
It was definitely
90s weren't
not.
fearless.
No. Another one off the end of the bat as RJ hangs in there. RJ comes from a family of ballers. His dad, of course, Reggie, played in the NFL with the Bears. Late 90s, early 2000s. Cousin Jay Austin played with the Astros in 2010. Down to another cousin, Miles, who played with the Alabama Crimson Tide for a short while.
Fairly athletic bloodlines.
Yeah, I
there.
would say that there's something going on with the Austin family that's not in the Neal gene pool, that's for sure. Still trying to figure out where to put RJ. I mean, he's a guy that he said we could run him a number of different places. Tonight he lines up at second base. Boy, hanging in there, fouling off another one.
They've done a good job of pushing his pitch count up for Doherty. Next pitch will be his 60th.
Well, we're just in the bottom of the third inning. 2 outs, however, on a 2-2 count. Got him. Inning is over. Pitch 61, pretty good. A 1-2-3 inning for Jack Doherty. We will visit with Mike Bianco when we come back. Tied at 2 here in Nashville. Go to the top of the 4th inning. Joining us in that Ole Miss dugout is longtime head coach and national championship head coach Mike Bianco. Probably never gets old hearing that, I would guess. Coach, thanks for joining us. First of all, here we are, another SEC season. You've been doing this a long time. Yeah. Is it just something different when you get ready to play a conference schedule?
Oh, there's no doubt. You can feel the electric in the air, and you know, we can talk about all the non-conference and be focused all you want. It's different when you get to mid-March.
No, it feels different when you show up today. Another thing that's different is Jacob Gonzalez is just a different player, man. I mean, he's that last at bat that goes shift on him. He shoots it the other way. What most impresses you about him?
You know, we talked about it early, KP, that, you know, he's a guy that you never know if he's 0 for or he's 3 for 3. You know, he got blown away his first at bat, right? Yeah. 3 fastballs. I mean, just absolutely blown away, and then smokes a double. I mean, that's him. He's terrific.
Well, listen, we'll let you get going. We're back playing ball. Thanks for joining us as always. Good seeing you.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Mike Bianco, you know, it's always probably going to be nice to say national championship coach Mike Bianco.
Yeah. Got a little smile out of him right there, too. Pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
We're fortunate. We get to work with a lot of really good people in this game, and he is absolutely one of the best.
Here is Anthony Calarco. You know, I was just thinking to myself, I'm going to now speak it out loud.
Perfect.
Because that's always something
that helps when you have a microphone.
How great it was to just get the ballpark today, deal with both these staffs, not just these head coaches, but the staffs. Yeah. Scott Brown, Mike Baxter at Vanderbilt, Coach Clem, Carl Lafferty. I mean, just great dudes, great to talk with. And, man, they work hard.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's recruit, then come back, try to get to the ballpark for this weekend series for Carl Lafferty. Carter Holton found that fastball again. This time goes right back to work on Calarco, strikes him out. It's 5 strikeouts in the day for a left-hander. A big old breaking ball there. There's a first pitch curveball.
Tough third inning for Carter Holton. Gave up a couple of runs. Now with 5 strikeouts. Looking at Reagan Burford. Lifts that one high in the air. And the catch made by R.J. Schreck, 2 down. We're talking about these assistant coaches. You know, Carl Lafferty now in his 17th season with Mike Bianco. Mike Clement now in his 9th season with Coach Bianco, who's in his 23rd season with the Rebel program. TJ McCants steps in with 2 down. He went strike 2. Tim Corbin now in his 21st season at Vanderbilt. We showed you both these guys chasing 1,000 wins.
I think that one's close, and I mean, Kevin Sweeney's a vet. He's been doing this for a long time, but when we slow it down, you still can't tell if there's a swing. I would much prefer if you go to a third base or a first base umpire to ask. I think it's a tough call for a home plate umpire to make.
Shift was on. R.J. Austin makes the play, and a good comeback inning for Carter Holton. 1-2-3. We are tied at 2. 2-2 here in Nashville, Ole Miss and Vanderbilt. Hey, it's week 5 in the XFL, and it continues Saturday night with an FX doubleheader. The 4-0 Defenders take on the 3-1 Battlehawks. Then it's the Guardians and Vipers. One of those teams are going to get their first win. And Sunday night on ESPN2 and ESPN Deportes, the Renegades square off against the Brahmas at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. Every game also available, as always, on ESPN+. Chris Maldonado, the freshman designated hitter, will lead things off. 6, 7, and 8 for the Commodores in a tie ball game here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Lifts that one high in the air. Ethan Groff on the run, to the wall, home run. Maldonado with his 2nd of the year.
We were talking with Mike Baxter, the hitting coach for this Vanderbilt team before the game, and Maldonado was one that he pointed out as really starting to take the next steps, man. That wind was howling earlier. It's not blowing a whole lot right now, and he just hit this out to the biggest part of the ballpark. Fastball down in the zone. The freshman runs it out of here. His 2nd home run of the season, and it gives Vandy the lead back.
So now Parker Nolan. Chops that one foul. Parker, the senior, out of Knoxville, Tennessee. This is what he did his first time up.
2-run shot the other way for Parker Nolan. That was his second home run of the season. Maldonado his second just a minute ago. All the Vandy runs tonight via the home run.
Out of Farragut High School, that baseball powerhouse in East Tennessee, the Knoxville area. He was actually drafted in the 31st round of the 2019 draft by the Marlins.
A 3-1 fastball right there from Doherty. You can always tell when he likes it. He's got that little scissor kick, leg kick at the end.
Ground ball to Gonzalez, moves to his left, and they get Nolan for the first out of the inning.
You know, it's interesting with Gonzalez. He's going to go unless something changes. He's probably going to go top 10 of the draft. And I think the question from pro scouts will be, do you think he can stick at shortstop? Obviously, when they hit it to him, he picks it up, throws it to first. He hadn't made an error all year. And that was one of the things that Mike Bianco talked about, was just how steady he is out there. He's not a big-time runner. Not slow, but he's definitely not a burner. But, man, if they hit it to him, you're out. The one thing he's going to do is hit. Now, whether or not he hits when he's playing short or they end up having to move into a different position in pro ball, he's going to hit.
That ball's lifted high in the air. Alderman back to the track, will make the catch. That'll be out number 2. Boy, when he gets up in this wind, hold your breath for a moment. Here's the 9-hole hitter, Jonathan Vastine, who singled his first time up. The sophomore out of Bartow, Florida. Coach Corbin said he went to the Northwoods League over the summer and really took advantage of it, came back a different baseball player. Worked on his body in the offseason, added some muscle. I work on my body and I don't add muscle. There's a couple of ways
Appreciate
you can
your
go.
work, though.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard work. Off the end of the bat, that's going to go for extra bases. Vastine turns the corner. He will wind up at second base. How about that base hit? A capper down the line.
Yeah. Fooled him on a changeup, and for Vastine, he just hit it in the right spot. This thing is spinning all over the place. I mean, that checks up and ends up going further back into fair territory on the first, after the first spin. For Vastine, that looks like a double off the right center field fence.
So a 2-out double for Enrique Bradfield Jr. Enrique has reached on an error and struck out. We talked about that Northwoods League, which is some great baseball in the summer. There's the look, and we just kind of saw the same look a moment ago.
Up in Duluth. You ever been up to Duluth?
I have not.
See how tough you are. You go up to Duluth at the end of December.
I've been to Fargo.
Oh, well, that's the same idea.
In December.
Yeah.
Was doing a FCS semifinal game up there a couple of years in a row, matter of fact, and one year it was minus 27.
Comfy.
Bradfield slaps that one to left. Vastine will score. Bradfield stretches it into a double, an RBI double it is, and it's 4-2 Vanderbilt.
Pretty good piece right here by Bradfield. Showed bunt earlier in the at-bat, and he's now done that 2 of the last 3 at-bats where he showed bunt at some point and then just rips it out of left field. This is a double the minute it comes off the bat. And I know that Alderman bobbled it a little bit, but there was zero hesitation on Bradfield's part. He was going to second the entire time.
Mike Bianco with the jog out to the mound. Make sure he gets his 30 seconds worth.
That even goes on the shot clock now.
And there it is.
There's your countdown.
And now Mike Bianco jogging it back. I was talking to Kevin O'Sullivan right before the season when I was down in Gainesville. And he said he was going to just to emphasize the 30, he was going to do a full-on sprint. I said I'd like to see that.
At some point.
I would like to see him do.
He's going to turn around and point at you.
Right.
Told you.
Davis Diaz looks at a first pitch strike. He's 1 for 2 with a single. .92-mile-an-hour fastball in there for a strike. 0-2. Bradfield out there dancing around at second base. Even at second base, he is a threat to go. Off the plate, 2-2.
Even when he's at second base, even when he was at third base, honestly, Enrique Bradfield just makes you think on the mound. I mean, it's not a giant lead, but he's bouncing around a little bit, trying to get some of Doherty's attention to second and take it off a home plate.
Chatagnier, what a play! No pick at first. Here comes Bradfield. The throw won't be made, and it's a run for the Doors. They lead it 5-2.
We talked about the defensive shot. Yeah, he gets there in time. The throw is over there in time, but Anthony Calarco had to go a ways to get it, so Bradfield kind of sizing it up the entire time, hits third base. The minute that ball got just a little bit away from Anthony Calarco over at first base, Bradfield was off and scoring. It's 2 in the second, now 3 in the fourth for Vandy.
This inning started with the home run by Chris Maldonado. 105 miles an hour off the bat, went 418 feet. And now RJ Schreck, the 3-hole hitter, steps in. Good breaking ball in there, 1-1 the count.
Schreck obviously looking fastball right there. Good one to take 1-0.
RJ is lined out and struck out. Jack Doherty's pitch count getting up there at 87 now.
Well, and he hasn't walked anybody. He hasn't walked anybody. And so that pitch count up there just because of the offensive ante, and now it just keeps on going. So R.J. Schreck, they were playing him to pull again right there, shoots another single to left field. That's 5 hits in the inning for Vanderbilt.
Well, I tell you what, it's one of those things, KP. Here we go. You know, it's part of SEC baseball now. You got to manage for the weekend too, as well. You're a little stressed with arms if you're Ole Miss.
Yeah.
You don't want to go start running through a bunch of guys on the first game of this series and not have anything left or a game 3.
No, but you also can't let this one get
away.
out of reach.
Yeah, I know. It's the
You're
cat
still
and mouse
strikeable
game.
right now, right? Bulger runs into it and turns it into a 6-run game, especially the way that Holton has been throwing at this point, man. That's a tall task to come back. Mitch Morrell, the right-hander, up and throwing for Ole Miss.
That one is up and in on Bulger. Jack 0 for 2, his average down to 212. Little excuse me swing. Gonzalez charges, throws, got him. Inning is over, but a good inning for Vanderbilt. They pick up 3. They take the lead. It all started with the home run by Chris Maldonado. When we come back, we will talk to Tim Corbin. Stay with us. Vanderbilt's taking a 3-run advantage. We move to the top of the 5th inning, and joining us is a longtime coach of the Commodores, Tim Corbin. And Corbs, obviously here we are, another SEC season for you. You've been doing this a long time, but it's just kind of a different feeling, is it not, when you get to the ballpark in the first game of the SEC slate?
It is, and more so. I think, you know, the older I get and being in this league for a long period of time, it's like it's amped up even more. You can, you know, feel it certainly here, but everywhere in this league.
Hey, Corbs, we got 2 potential top 10 picks this year. Jacob Gonzalez at short, and obviously Enrique in center field. How does Enrique change the course of the game the most when he's out there?
Well, I think a lot of different ways. I mean, certainly defensively. I mean, he covers ground like no one we've had here, and we've had some good center fielders. But I think his impact, the ability to put the ball in play and certainly run the bases. I mean, he's just not a base stealer. I mean, he's a good base runner, too. He's got a high acumen for the game. But he's very competitive, and he's just a good ball player.
Hey, last thing, Carter Holton had that one hiccup in the 3rd inning, but your thoughts of him so far tonight?
Yeah, pretty good. These guys are very dangerous at the top, and that's not to minimize the bottom, but he's going to have to mix 3rd time through and just try to keep those top 3 or 4 hitters down and back into the dugout.
All right, buddy. Hey, Corbs, always great. Thanks for having us as always, and good luck rest of the way.
Thank you, guys.
Tim Corbin joining us. A couple of national championships under his belt. Boy, talk about a consistent program. I mean, it's hard to do what he's done. I think sometimes you overlook how consistent they have been since he's been running the show here.
I think what you forget sometimes is how inconsistent they were before he got here. I mean, there was not a lot of baseball history at Vanderbilt before Tim Corbin showed up, and there's been a whole lot in the last 20 years.
One of the first games I ever called was here before this stadium existed. I don't know if I've told you this, but the broadcast press box area was actually like, I just envision a mobile home on top of the dugout.
Okay.
And Ray Tanner had just gotten the job at South Carolina, and I'm calling a game over the dugout. That used to be South Carolina's dugout over there, and I guess I can't remember who it was. It was so long ago I was mispronouncing the name, and he steps out of the dugout and says, "Hey, it's Smith, not Smythe."
Thank you, Ray.
Yeah, thank you, Coach. Yeah. So my point is, besides making fun of myself, is the difference just in the environment of baseball here. The people of Nashville have embraced the program, and it's just remarkable what they have done in his 20-plus years. Ground ball to short. Well done there by Vastine.
Vastine zipped this one over there at the end, too. I think he maybe took another step than he wanted. Playing pretty deep, so has to come all the way in. And yeah, had to take one more step, make sure he had a good handle on it. Put enough on the throw to get it over there for the first down.
Boy, got Gonzalez off balance. Gonzalez caught by Austin, who elevates to make the catch.
He just did something that you've never done before in your life. Jump that high. I mean, this is timed absolutely perfectly by the freshman. Fastball in on his hands, and he went up and got it at the highest point of that jump. Off the bat, it looked like Gonzalez may have one.
Gracious.
That's what I know. That's what I was saying.
Wow, that was impressive by R.J. Austin. And you got to dig at me in the same breath.
It worked out great.
Nice work.
I like that freshman. Allows me to go after you a little bit.
Two down now for Ethan Groff. Struck out, had a sacrifice fly with an RBI back in the third inning. Lifts this one out to center. Bradfield's got a long way to run. On his horse, makes the catch. Wow, did he cover some ground?
Corbs just talked about it. When we asked him about how much Bradfield impacts the game, the first thing he said was defensively. The route is perfect, and he is a burner, man. You combine those two things, and you got one of the best center fielders in all of college baseball.
Well, here's this week's featured college baseball game. A St. Patrick's Day special right here on the over on the SEC network. As LSU and Texas A&M, the 15th ranked Aggies in the first game of the big three-game series at Blue Bell Park. Coverage begins tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 Central.
Good to be back at the ballpark, man. Missed this. 8 months that we don't have the ability to do it.
I mean, every weekend there are going to be some great matchups going on in the SEC. I mean, heck, Alabama top 25 matchup down in Gainesville this weekend. They're actually going at it tonight.
Yeah, LSU at A&M. That one starts tomorrow.
Ground ball out to Gonzalez. Whoa, that one got up in the air and safe at first.
This is crazy, man. I mean, Ole Miss comes in field 985 as a club. Literally, the second baseman, the shortstop, had not made an error, one, the entire season. Chatnier now has 2. One was a throwing error, and Gonzalez makes his first of the year, that on a throwing error.
And now we're back to Chris Maldonado, who started the fourth with a home run as R.J. Austin reaches on the air. By the way, 93 pitches now for Jack Doherty. That is the most he has thrown in his Ole Miss career.
So Hunter Elliott, their ace, went down with a forearm sprain after the first start of the year, and pitched since. Is here, played some flat ground catch yesterday at practice, and they'll get him back on the mound here in the next few weeks. They're hoping to get him back in the middle of April. If Ole Miss is going to make a run like they did last year, they need Elliott back. That's the one blemish right now when you look at this club, is just as a staff, they're not incredibly deep.
R.J. Austin still learning how to steal bases in his freshman campaign, just 1 out of 4 in the stolen base department. Here's what Maldonado did last inning.
That central fastball out away from him. That didn't just sneak over either. That went over the camber well out in center field. That had to go 400. Well, I'll tell you exactly how far it went. It went 418 feet. It says it right there. I was going to say about 420.
And I guess you were going to say it left his bat at 105 miles an hour.
Took the words right out of my mouth,
yeah.
Dave.
Well, we got some mashers in this league, and if you haven't been paying attention, Jack Caglione down at Florida, first baseman pitcher. Balls leave the bat 115 miles an hour and better.
He had one at 118 when he had a 3 home run game. Yeah. The first home run came off the bat.
By the way, while he was starting.
Yeah.
How about that? The guy.
That's college baseball Shohei right now. I mean, it's 118 off the bat and 97 off the left arm.
But Kemp Alderman's here at Ole Miss, another guy that 115 regularly off his bat. Well, that's high in the air. Not a whole lot of foul ball territory here. And it bounces into that auxiliary section. The end of the stands.
Yeah, you don't get a lot of free outs here if you're a pitcher. You get fly balls down the right and left field line, and what is that, maybe 8 feet, 10 feet as you get all the way down that foul line to get to the wall, and it gets a little bit tighter as it goes. I didn't like those places. I wanted to steal a few freebies.
You generally had some tightness when you would come to ballparks like this, tightness in the arm.
Yeah.
God, just
feeling so good today.
It's just
a little stomach bug.
The 1-2 to Maldonado. Boy, another one blistered off the bat out into right center. They will hold up Austin at third base. They're at the corners with nobody out. You just wonder how much longer Ole Miss is going to stay with Jack Doherty.
I got to think that's probably it right here. He just hadn't had his best stuff tonight. That's the 11th hit right there, and the freshman Maldonado has 3 of them. Singled, scored in the second. Solo home run in the 4th, and now a missile off the bat right there in the right center field. 3 for 3 on the night, and that will do it for Doherty.
The error didn't help his cause here in the 5th inning for sure. What looked like a routine ground ball to one of the steadiest shortstops in college baseball. So instead, we've got a change on the mound. Jay. Mitch Morrell coming on, grabbing the baseball from Mike Bianco and company.
Well, rough night for Jack Doherty, and we talked about kind of forced into this ace role to throw the opener for Ole Miss after Hunter Elliott went down, and this was not one of his best of the year. Gave up 11 hits, retired the side in order just one of the 4+ innings that he was out there, and he's responsible for the 2 that are out there right now.
It's a 5-2 game. 11 hits on the board for this Commodore baseball team, and 3 errors by Ole Miss. There's the numbers for Mitch Morrell, who gets the baseball now. 1-0 with a 3.65 ERA. Struck out 17 in those 12 innings of work.
He's got good stuff, and a lot of it goes off of the slider. Fastball over the course of the year, just a tick above 90 for an average velo, but especially against right-handers, really slider heavy. Primarily just fastballs and sliders to left-handers.
They've been using Morrell a lot lately. He's pitched, well, if you go back, he's pitched March 10th, 12th, 14th, and 16th. That one is slapped down the line and left, and slicing off Memorial Gymnasium.
That ball had some carry.
Yeah.
Nolan's already gone deep tonight, hit it out to left center field. And
Morrell out of Ocean Springs, Mississippi, the junior. or excuse me, the senior's junior year, had 9 relief appearances, had a nice little ERA, just a little over 3. Didn't pitch a whole lot.
Already on for the 10th time this year. That's most of anybody on this Rebel staff.
That is high in the air. Gonzalez shades to his right. Will make the catch, and that'll be the first out of the inning.
That's a big out right there. You got first and third, nobody out. Morrell comes into the ball game, and you get a fly ball in the infield that forces the base runners to stay put. Now he gets a right-hander in Matthew Polk that I think is where Morrell's going to be a little bit more comfortable. You got a chance to get 2 outs with 1 pitch and maybe get off the field.
Matthew Polk, the left fielder. Matthew, sophomore out of Long Beach, California. Swing and a miss.
These right-handers are going to see a lot of those from Morrell over the course of the season. He's thrown more sliders than fastballs when he faces right-handed hitters, and especially when he gets ahead in the count. He's probably going to stay with him.
Tried to lay down the bunt and misfired on a high pitch.
Yeah, and on a safety, too, you don't have to bunt that one. It looked like a safety. I didn't think that Austin was running from third base. And so, really, that's up to the hitter. Suicide squeeze, you got to bunt it. Doesn't matter where it is because your runner's laid out to dry at third. But on a safety, you can make the decision. Maybe not exactly where Morrell wanted to throw it, but that high slider is not the easiest pitch in the world to bunt. Now Polk's in an 0-2 hole.
Polk 282 on the year at the plate. Lifted in the air to center field. Groff backpedals a few steps, makes the catch. This will be good enough to get Austin home from third base. And it's now a 6-2 ball game. Vanderbilt out in front.
That's a great at bat. That is a great at bat by Matthew Polk. He gets himself in an 0-2 hole, and the second strike on what was intended to be a safety squeeze. And all he saw was sliders. The 0-2 slider off the plate. That slider was not a bad pitch, but it was the 4th that Polk had seen, and the at bat stays on it. Drives it deep enough to center field to score another run for Vandy.
Boy, Vanderbilt's had some really good at-bats tonight. The bottom 4 of this lineup, 7 for 10, 4 RBIs, and 4 runs scored. And here is the very bottom of the order, Jonathan Vastine. The 9-hole hitter doubled and scored his last time up. Vastine looking for his 3rd hit of the evening. Came in at 279. His average has jumped to 300 now. Boy, you see those numbers from Vanderbilt. 11 hits tonight. And we're just in the bottom of the 5th. Ground ball to the right side. Chatnier makes the play, and that'll do it for the Commodores. They pick up another run, though. Push their lead to 4. Back in a moment.
This is how legends are made.
Chevy Silverado and new Silverado HD. Choose your own path with the #1 best-selling retail full-size pickup and see where it takes you. Find new roads. It's Chevy truck season. Get 0% financing plus make no monthly payments for 90 days on all Silverado 1500 pickups and get $1,000 cash allowance on this Silverado with a turbo high output engine. See your Super Chevy dealers today.
This is how legends are made.
Chevy Silverado and new Silverado HD. Choose your own path with the #1 best-selling retail full-size pickup and see where it takes you. Find new roads. It's Chevy truck season. Get 0% financing plus make no monthly payments for 90 days on all Silverado 1500 pickups and get $1,000 cash allowance on this Silverado with a turbo high output engine. See your Super Chevy dealers today.
Well, the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship first round continues Saturday at 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on ABC and the ESPN app. 13th-seeded St. Louis takes on 4th-seeded Tennessee in Knoxville. Then it's the 15-2 matchup between Vermont, UConn, and Storrs. Every game of the tournament available on the networks of ESPN. I had an NIT game last night. Clemson thought they should have been in the big dance and loses to Morehead State. And a base hit, infield base hit by Calvin Harris to start things off in the 6th inning for Ole Miss.
The hardest working man in sports right now, Dave Neal. Basketball last night, you got basketball again on Sunday.
Yeah.
You have absolutely crushed it through the first 5+ innings so far here tonight.
Only I've kept it to a minimum, mistakes to a minimum. Doesn't mean there haven't been any. I've just kept them to a minimum.
No, I can point a few out if you want.
Here's Kemp Alderman. Boy, he took a big old cut at that one and fouls it straight back.
I think this guy's going to hit in the big leagues for a long time, man. They're going to have to figure out where to play him, but it is just a different kind of power.
He just looks like he's about to damage a baseball. That's off the bat. Wow. And what a catch in left field. Unbelievable grab by the freshman the sophomore Matthew Polk, who lays out on a ball that had to leave the bat at 115 or better.
And his route had to go back towards the wall. He couldn't take a direct route to the baseball because it was hit so hard. And we talked about Bradfield's route a few innings ago. This one is perfect. Lays out and steals what, at least off the bat, looked like it was going to be extra bases for Kemp Alderman, and that's a game changer right there. That's one you circle.
I mean, Alderman hit that squarely on the barrel of the bat. Game-changing plays. That's one of them right there by Matthew Polk. You usually don't see guys diving that direction that he dove. They'll dive to the side or dive forward, but you don't.
That's how hard the ball was hit. I mean, that thing's got a dent in it.
Fouled back off the bat of Chatinier.
Gators trying to win game 1 this weekend against Alabama. That game started the same time as our game. They're in the bottom of the 8th right now. It's 3-0. Alabama has 1 hit. Florida has 3 hits. Brandon Sprode, 11 strikeouts, walked just 2 for the Gators, went 8, gave up 1 hit.
Opening night in the SEC, you're going to see some good arms.
He can show you 100.
That one gloved at third. Diaz, are they going to turn 2? Oh my goodness, what a play. What an inning defensively for the Vanderbilt Commodores. Doesn't get much better than that.
That'd be pretty nice to your boys this week, I'm going to tell you, because the left-hander, they bailed him out of this inning. Great start to a 5-4-3 to get Vandy off the field.
6-2 Vanderbilt out in front, but hugs abound, high fives, handshakes, you name it, for the defensive effort. Matthew Polk in left, and then Diaz to Austin to Nolan for the double play.
If you get Tim Corbin smiling at some point during the game, something really good happened. Right. And I swear I saw a smile right there when Davis was celebrating. Yeah, that was a clinic that inning.
We got the numbers on Alderman's shot to left. It was 114 miles an hour off his bat. And if it had maybe 2 more degrees of loft, it'd probably be bouncing off Memorial Gymnasium right now.
Yeah, if that thing, if that was launched with backspin, it would have gone 450 feet.
Let's see. Did we actually see a smile?
See? That counts, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
I think I'm counting.
Right. He's not quite sure because we're in the middle of the game. Should I let a smile? Can I? Should I?
Can I?
6-2 Commodores out in front. Here's Enrique Bradfield Jr. Coach Corb's locked in over there at third base. Fouled back, 2-2 now.
That's now 3 of the 4 at-bats that Bradfield has had tonight. He showed bunt. And it affects the infield defense now with 2 strikes. Ole Miss will start to shift on him right there. But it makes that third baseman have to respect it so much.
Mitch Morrell out of the bullpen gets the strikeout of Bradfield. The second time he's gone down on strikes.
An elevated slider right there, too, that looked like it was up and out of the zone. Bradfield just didn't really see it.
Here's Davis Diaz. Started that double play last inning. Well, that's an easy 93 from Mitch Morrell. And he comes back with that. 1-1 the count.
That's the one he likes to throw the most. Up in the count, down in the count. He'll add some side to side to it too. So one is kind of a strike stealer. And then when he gets to a swing and miss count, you'll see it add a little bit more depth.
How would you have liked with that the wristband pitch comm thing?
I understand why everybody does it now because I mean you can't pick signs. I don't know. There was just something I liked about the cadence of looking in and taking signs. It was, and I'm sure that your mind changes to match that speed. And for these kids now, they're used to it. I mean, this is their normal. But yeah, it's just so different. It's another thing though that does speed the game up.
(3-2). Swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts now to the top of the order.
I noticed this last inning, and Mike Bianco always has great catchers. Like as long as he's been there, Dunhurst was another one last year, and now Calvin Harris pushes into that role. He is so far back from where the hitter is. I mean, that's where he ends up staying, and I just think sometimes it may cost you a few low strikes because it's obviously the home plate umpire is going to stand behind you, and the ball's got to go a little bit further than usual. When I was growing up, and I don't think you see too many guys do this, but I caught a little bit. And I remember our coach would say, I want you close enough that you can almost touch the elbow of the hitter. Because if you're to that point, then generally you're not going to get a catcher's interference call. But I like my catchers closer because I felt like they were going to steal more strikes for me than the further back that they were. And honestly, visually, when catchers are closer, it makes you feel like you're throwing harder. As crazy as that sounds, because you're not throwing the ball quite as far.
I would think the breaking ball becomes an issue too.
I think it totally does.
Yeah. But the fact that you caught.
That was the most overwhelming thing of anything I just said that entire inning. Hold on, what? You caught like in an actual game.
Things are starting to make sense now.
Dave Neal not in spring training mode anymore. Here he is. We just saw a masterclass in defense this entire game from Vanderbilt. Jumping higher than Dave Neal ever has. The freshman R.J. Austin. Look at this route, man. You want to teach center field play? Just watch that. Perfect route for Bradfield out towards center. And Matthew Polk takes one away that was 114 off the bat. Then they turn a beautiful double play to get off the field last inning. It's funny, we come in and talk about Ole Miss had made an error up the middle of the entire season. They're filled 985 as a club, and they're one of the most powerful offenses in the country. And tonight it's been Vandy's defense and the 2 home runs that have made a huge difference.
Well, Calarco will lead off the inning with a base hit. And that'll take us to Reagan Burford. I just love how you segue a shot at me into the highlight package. That's, I mean, talk about me being in fine form. It's like we've been doing this all year.
Like we've worked a few games together.
Calarco hasn't attempted a stolen base all year.
That's kind of what I thought they were trying to do there, because there's no, just give a little bit more time in the bullpen, and I'll get him out of the dugout on the Vandy side, and that'll do it for Carter Holton. But man, that was a good one. Sophomore left-hander had a great night. Punched out 2 in the first, punched out 2 in the second, scuffled a little bit in the third, but he pitches into the 7th, and Vandy will head to the bullpen, a spot that's been pretty good for him so far this year. Looks like Bryce Cunningham, the right-hander.
Well, we'll update the change on the other side. Runner on, nobody out.
Dave Neal, there's a long list of aces that have rolled through this place, and Carter Holton is fast becoming the next one right here. 2 punch-outs in the first. In fact, started the game with 2 punch-outs. 2 in the second, another in the fourth for the left-hander. Fastball was up to 95. Control was solid the entire night. Did not walk anybody. Struck out those 5 and will leave responsible for the runner on first base. But that is a very solid night by Carter Holton.
Third inning, ran into a bit of trouble, but settled in nicely thereafter. And here is Bryce Cunningham getting the baseball now. I mean, he is a big boy. It's 6'5", 234 coming at you from the right side.
A low 90s fastball. Average fastball velo is about 93 this year for Cunningham. More sliders, especially to right-handers. Will show you a changeup every once in a while to a left-hander. How about that? 18 strikeouts, just 2 walks in 13 of the third innings. And this has been a strength of this Vandy team so far this year. They're back into the bullpen. It's been outstanding.
In his 5 previous appearances, he's gone 2+ innings in each one of those. And as mentioned, 0 earned runs. And a pinch hitter for the Rebels, Will Furness, a freshman who they are really high on. Swings like his daddy, Eddie Furness.
I was just thinking the same thing. I'm in his daddy's book, by the way.
He got you?
He got me. Yep.
In Omaha?
Yep.
Yep. High in the air to center field. Bradfield back. Shy of the track, will make the catch, and that'll be the first out of the inning. And Furness didn't miss it by much.
He's going to hit him a lot of home runs. Kid they're excited about, and if there was a right-hander, would have got the start tonight. I think he's only had 4 or 5 at bats against lefties the entire season, but they're excited about the young freshman.
TJ McCants, 0 for 2. He's been swinging it really well. Average even after an 0 for 2 night, 327. He's been their center fielder the last couple of years, but had a real battle out in center field in the fall with Ethan Groff, the transfer that came in. It was kind of an open competition, and Coach Bianco just felt like Groff was just really good at tracking baseballs out in center field. But what it does is it gives you a really good right fielder now, and TJ McCants, who can cover a lot of ground.
It gives you a really good 8-hole hitter too.
Yeah.
If this is your 8-hole hitter, you got an offense. McCants' OPS coming into this game was just shy of 1,200.
Oh,
he's hitting 8th.
Jeez. Offense to this point has not been an issue for Ole Miss. 3-1 the count to TJ McCants. Draws the walk, first and second now with 1 out.
talked plenty about it. I mean, Vandy, from an arm standpoint, they're always going to have arms, but they've been among the top 20, 25 in the country in most pitching categories, and Ole Miss has been the exact same thing on the hitting side. It feels like when you look at these two teams going forward for the balance of the year, if Vandy hits, Vandy's going to be really tough. If Ole Miss pitches, Ole Miss is going to be really tough because Ole Miss is going to hit and Vandy is going to pitch, and they've each done it so far this year.
I think for Ole Miss, they just kind of got to hang on until they can get a healthy Hunter Elliott back and get their rotation set the way they envisioned it. Ground ball, this could be 2. Austin turns it, and the inning is over. Defense not a problem at all for the Doors.
No, I would say leading the SEC in double plays, and Vandy's had a few more of them tonight. 6-4-3 to get them back off the field. Stretch time, and Vandy leads it by 4.
Well, Jack Doherty, 4 innings, 5 earned runs, gave up 11 hits. Not the start that Ole Miss was hoping for in game 1 of this SEC opening series of 2023. On the flip side, Connor Holton did kind of what we expected him to do, and other than one little hiccup, pitched very well, and Commodores lead this one 6-2. Ground ball to third, and that one off the leg. It looked like it caught Leger in the shin and kicked it toward the fence.
It looked like he got in between steps over there. Like he wasn't quite sure if he was going to go backhand side or try to work all the way around it. That is the 4th Ole Miss error tonight. And again, they came in fielding 986 as a club. Over the course of the entire season, Ole Miss had only made 8 errors. Tonight they've made 4, and now it leads to the leadoff man on here for Vandy.
And again, you know, you look at it from a pitcher's perspective, and now you're really digging yourself out of a hole with nobody out and a runner on first. Changes the whole dynamic.
How high he gets. And it was like he just stayed at the top of it to wait for the ball to get into his glove. Just a freshman, R.J. Austin. He's going to be a fun one to watch.
Little hit and run game. Only play over to first. And that'll be the first out of the inning. So Austin does his job at the plate. Didn't need to elevate on that one, but still kept it in play.
Yep. Get it on the ground, and Chatagnier has to charge. Can't wait back for that one because then you might not get any outs. Yeah, that'll usually get them up on their feet in the dugout. Even though it wasn't a hit, you protected that base runner. Now Vandy's got another one in scoring position.
Maldonado's had a heck of a game at the plate. He's 3 for 3, couple of singles and a home run. His average has climbed all the way up to 389. He came in at 333. Mitch Morrell working out of that bullpen. 0-2 now on Maldonado. Called strike 3, second out of the inning.
Slider, slider, slider for Morrell right here. Maldonado swung through the second one and took this one. Just enough of that late break to bring it over and get the called strike.
Parker Nolan 1 for 3. But that one was a loud one. In the second inning, hit a 2-run shot. A missile over the left center field fence for his second home run of the year. Fastball up and away. Popped him up. Out of play.
So the Gators win the opener tonight, 3-0. Alabama got 1 hit. Florida had 3. Florida left 1 guy on base. Time of game, 1 hour and 51 minutes.
We haven't seen games like that since Greg Maddux was pitching. Yeah. Who had that game from an announcer standpoint?
TV's Tom Hart, who it had to be the minute that they went off the air, texted us just to make sure that we were aware that it was a 1 hour and 51 minute game.
Good man, good heart. No pun intended.
And the fabulous Mike Rooney with him tonight.
They must have talked fast tonight. Hour 51. Called strike 3. Good inning for Morrell. Looks sharp out of that bullpen for Ole Miss and Mike Bianco. Now they need the bats to get it cranked up. 6-2. Commodores out in front. Young man having a good time here at Hawkins Field watching his Commodores up 6-2. Got the replica black pinstripe uni. Good business decision by the Commodores to start selling those, I think.
Yeah. Good to be in the popcorn business tonight, too. That looked like 2 on the head.
Bryce Cunningham working his second inning. His first inning was solid, just 1 walk, but no damage done. And he'll start things off with the top of this Ole Miss lineup. Jacob Gonzalez, 1 for 3. That 1 hit was a double. And again, they put the shift on. They will shade him to the right side. They keep Vastine over there at shortstop. But move Diaz, the third baseman, to the right side of second base.
If you came and watched Gonzalez hit, and you had no idea who he was and what his numbers were, the swing does not look like a swing that produces the things that it does for Jacob Gonzalez. It's an unorthodox move, but he has mastered it.
Had 18 home runs last year.
Yeah, just 2 so far this year. In a year that home runs are up 23% over last year in college baseball.
Yeah, we haven't really talked about that, but the numbers are astronomical in terms of power in college baseball right now.
What are we? 18, so we're 36. We're not quite a third of the year through the season, but close. South Carolina's got close to 50 home runs as a team.
That'll be out number 1. The fly ball to Shrek. It could be a record-setting year for home runs. I mean, imagine when the ball starts getting a little temperatures raised. The ball's already jumping.
Yeah, I mean, this is usually when it starts going a little bit more, and you're right. One of those kids at South Carolina was here for the first 2 years. Gavin Casas,
yeah,
I think had 50-some at-bats his first 2 years at Vandy. He's got 10 home runs this year for the Gamecocks already.
And that's a hitter's ballpark.
It is.
And they just haven't had the hitters the last few years. But they got him now. Here's Ethan Groff.
They've pitched it too. I think South Carolina's one team to look for in the league this year. Because offensively, obviously, they're going to hit a ton of home runs. But that pitching staff is real.
Led by Will Sanders, the big right-hander, who is going to be a very, very high draft pick. That one's hit mile in the air. In the infield, R.J. Austin says he has it. Stumbles on the bag and still makes the catch.
So you kind of look at the bag in disgust. He calls for it right away. Calls for it early. He's going to come back towards him. And
Ooh, hey. You could see he tried to step for it to see where it was.
Pretty good adjustment he did, but he stared it down right afterwards. Like, how dare you get in my way?
2 outs for Calvin Harris. Calvin with 3 hits tonight. His average has crept up to 400.
Here's 3 hits. The rest of this Ole Miss offense has 3 hits tonight.
Former high school quarterback.
Pella, Iowa.
He was a 3A Iowa Football Player of the Year. Felt like baseball was his sport. Headed south to Oxford. And lifts that one up in a 4-hit game for Calvin Harris.
That's a spoiler right there, too, because even though in this spot Cunningham didn't exactly throw it where he wanted to, he was trying to go in, that one leaked away, but it was a ball, and Harris did what you're supposed to do with that one. Just fillet it out to left field. It's a 4-hit night for the left-hander.
Second time this year that Harris has had a 4-hit game. Here's Kemp Alderman. Last time he was up, Matthew Polk took extra bases away from him on the best defensive play on a good defensive night for Vanderbilt.
There's some ill intent in those swings. Does not get cheated.
That is 6'3", 250 pounds. Fouls it straight back, 2 strikes. That one stays up in the zone.
It looked a little up.
Inning is over. Bryce Cunningham gets the strikeout to end the inning.
Look at this.
Don't you do that again, he said.
Thought we talked about this.
We were tied at 2 heading into the 4th inning, and that's when Vanderbilt put up a 3 spot, and they have not looked back, and they lead at 6-2 now as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning here in Nashville in game 1 of this 3-game set. Now, those of you in the Nashville area that were expected to come to the ballpark on Saturday morning for an early start, they've changed the game time a little bit. It's now been pushed back to 1 o'clock Central Time due to the NIT game with Vanderbilt and Michigan, which is starting at 11 a.m. local time. It'll be available on SEC Network Plus and, of course, on the app as always. A lot going on here on the campus of Vanderbilt. Matthew Polk. Fastball off the plate. Polk 1 for 2.
Okay, so if Morrell can finish this thing off, and even if he doesn't, if you're Ole Miss, obviously not an ideal start from Doherty, but you're able to get through the balance of the game with one more arm. That helps over the course of the weekend.
This ball is hammered deep to left. Into the seats. Home run. Matthew Polk, his 3rd of the year. Have yourself a night, Matthew.
This one didn't exactly sneak out of here, Dave Neal. And I think it was on a slider. Since Morel has come in, especially against right-handers, it's been a whole lot of sliders. It wasn't terrible, but that's just a really good move to it right there. Polk runs it out to left center field, and it goes about 6 rows deep to add another run for Vandy. 3 home runs on the night now for the Vandy boys.
Kind of roles have been reversed a little bit here offensively.
100%. Yes.
Vastine, he's got a couple of hits tonight in that 9 hole for the Commodores. Chases one up. 0-2 the count.
What we got working here on the left side? It's like some power bracelets.
Well, it's working. I wonder if it was an 0 for 4 night if we'd bust him out. But a couple of hits tonight.
2, 3, 4. There's like 5 or 6 of them.
I'm going to say this as we look at that, the wristband, the wrist. Oh, see, that's slapped into left center, going to drop in. He'll be adding a color to the wristbands after tonight. His 2nd double, his 3rd hit for Jonathan Vastine in the 9 hole.
Okay, so the first double tonight for Vastine was just kind of right guy, right place. Capped it down the left field line and ends up spinning around the corner. This is a really good move to the baseball cap. 2-seam fastball moving down and away from him, and he backspins this thing into left center. And again, there's not a whole lot of wind anymore. This ball was just hit. Short hops the wall, and looks like that'll do it for Mitch Morel. And I understand Ole Miss probably ain't going to win this game, but the fact that he ate up the amount of outs that he did in the middle of it is beneficial to him for the rest of this weekend.
The bottom of this order, 6, 7, 8, 9 for Vanderbilt. 3 homers, 9 hits, 5 RBIs. They've scored 5 runs. So the Rebels having to go to the bullpen one more time tonight. We'll update the change when we come back. Well, here's this week's featured college baseball game, a St. Patty's Day special over on the SEC Network, and of course always on the ESPN app. Number 1 LSU taking on 15th ranked Texas A&M in the first game of their big 3-game series at Bluebell Park. Coverage begins tomorrow night at 7 Eastern time, 6 Central. Could be a good series. LSU on the road. You know that Bluebell will be bouncing.
That it will be. I would bet there's a little purple and gold that makes their way down to College Station. They always seem to find a way to do that.
Mitch Morel's night is over. Mitch has been a workhorse out of that bullpen for the Rebels, but he'll turn it over to Jackson Kimbrell, making his 5th appearance. As there is nobody out and a runner at second base here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Matthew Polk homered to left center to start this frame. Bradfield squares up, looks at a strike. Vanderbilt's all-time leading base stealer. And he went, strike 2. What do you think, KP?
It's like a 50-50 ball right there, I think. I mean, it's close enough, could go either way.
Way to take a stand. Wait.
I answered your question. I just not definitively.
1-2 on Bradfield. That time he definitely did not go. 2-2.
That's where Kimbrel will go, especially late against left-handers. More sliders and fastballs to lefties this year. He'll go fastball, slider, changeup to righties. But when he gets into a plus count against lefties, you're going to see a lot of sliders. Did you see a Vastine just get on second base?
I saw him like stumble. Or
it's like he thought out of the corner of his eye, he thought he saw a pick.
Better safe than sorry.
Back in head first. You may hear about that one.
Well, now it's full 3-2. Sharply hit, backhanded at first base. Calarco underhand toss. Kimbrel got there just in time to get the speedy Bradfield.
That's a really good job by Kimbrel, because with the left-hander, you're falling off of the third base side anyway. So, I mean, you got one of the fastest runners in all of college baseball going down the line from the left side. Momentum's already taken you away from it, and you don't have a lot of time to catch and find the base at the exact same time. Your footing has to be perfect on one of those when it's bang bang, and that time that was really good work by Kimbrel.
So Davis Diaz will step in. That did get Vastine over to third base. Infield will come in with one out. It's a 7-2 ball game. Diaz with a couple of hits, 2 for 4, his average up to 246 now. And he looks at a strike. Came in at 231. Boy, made a heck of a defensive play to start a double play. And it was a heck of a defensive inning for Vanderbilt back in the 6th.
I wouldn't give Diaz anything to hit right here. You got a left-on-left matchup coming up next. You set up potentially a double play if it's hit hard enough. It goes right back to the 3-1 breaking ball. Probably going to see that one again.
And there's the walk. They'll be at the corners now with one out. R.J. Schreck, the right fielder. Schreck, the transfer from Duke.
Got 2 combined walks in this game. That's it. 1 for each side.
That ball is hammered out to right center. And that is a souvenir for the third row. A 3-run shot.
so much for that left-on-left approach right there. R.J. Schreck didn't want anything to do with it. That's the 4th home run of the day for Vandy and the 4th of the season for R.J. Schreck. Deep into the night into right center field, and that is a quick evening from Jackson Kimbrell. Mike Bianco on his way out right now. It is all Vandy tonight. 10 runs on 14 hits and 4 home runs.
So another change on the mound for the Rebels. Mason Morris coming into the game. We'll update it when we come back.
This is how legends are made.
Chevy Silverado and new Silverado HD. Choose your own path with the #1 best-selling retail full-size pickup and see where it takes you. Find new roads. It's Chevy truck season. Get 0% financing plus make no monthly payments for 90 days on all Silverado 1500 pickups and get $1,000 cash allowance on this Silverado with a turbo high output engine. See your Super Chevy dealers today.
What's he doing?
He's cleaning the trash cans.
Oh boy. Meeting a new young homeowner for the first time is a unique challenge.
So you think you can help?
I can try. Hey, what you doing?
Just cleaning my trash cans.
Wow. It's important to build trust. See, you put your address and phone number on here.
Well, you can never be too safe.
With trash?
Progressive can't protect you from becoming your parents, but we can protect your home and auto when you bundle with us.
Don't look at the hedges, they're a mess.
No one's looking at the hedges.
KP, Vanderbilt ready to go in their SEC opener offensively. They were locked in tonight. They have put together 14 hits, and 6 of them, the last couple of games, have been home runs. Tonight, 4 home runs.
4 tonight, 2 a few nights ago against Belmont. They scored 15 runs against Belmont on Tuesday. Now double digits again. I don't see double-digit runs in this league very often. Game 1 on the weekend. That one rarely happens.
So the numbers on Mason Morris. Throwing just 3 1/3 on the year, giving up 5 hits. And he enters with 1 out and nobody on, facing Jack Bolger. Bolger looking for his first hit tonight. Jack hitting in the 4 spot in this lineup. 0 for 4. 3-1.
I'm talking to Mike Baxter from Vanderbilt before this game, and he said, you know what, it feels like maybe this offense is starting to heat up. Last 2 games, 25 runs. The 5 games before that, 24 total. That now the 15th hit of the night for Vanderbilt. "15 hits makes your hitting coach look really smart."
Yeah.
You look really smart when you get 15 knocks.
Yep. There is Mike Baxter, played here at Vanderbilt.
Yeah. Big leaguer.
These guys, just when the season's over, doesn't mean it ends for them, especially guys like Mike Baxter and other assistant coaches in college baseball. They are on the summer circuit grind. They spend a lot of time on the road. Matter of fact, we were talking to Mike Bianco today about enjoying the national championship, and they got home, had a parade, and he had to leave.
Yeah, yeah, he had Team USA stuff last summer, so he was off doing that. Scott Brown was his pitching coach. Vandy's pitching coach was the pitching coach for the national team last year.
What did he say? He said something like from May through June, something 43 of 62 nights or something were in a hotel for him.
Be careful here now. They got a 10-run rule this year in this league, and if Andy gets 2 more in this inning, this thing's over. Not the start you were looking for the Rebs. They give up 15 hits, make 4 errors. Maybe you're happy if you're the Ole Miss players tonight that your bus ride back to the hotel is like 34 seconds.
Yeah.
This is one that you want to get over pretty quick, and this might be a very direct conversation.
Is this one of those, I'm not going to the bullpen, you'll be out here?
Yeah, if I read him right when he went out there, he said, I don't care what happens, challenge him. I don't care, just throw strikes. Whatever happens after that, we can deal with.
And here's Chris Maldonado, 3 for 4 tonight. The designated hitter singled and scored, homered. Lifts that one up in the air to right. Should be playable for McCants, and it is. And the runner will tag from second to third. So Bolger will get to third. So 2 down. And here is Parker Nolan. He's homered tonight. Oh, we're talking about pace of play in college baseball. This has been a long inning for sure, but it was moving around rather quickly tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you got a game, there's 12 runs and 22 hits. And it still looks like you're going to get it in under 3 hours. That's the way they're supposed to be.
Little blooper, foul by a few feet.
Here's what's interesting about those pitch clocks. This year, they don't have to be visible. So you'll see some ballparks. Miami's one of them. We were talking to Gino DeMare about it last day. They don't have one. It's literally kept by the third base umpire.
Now, is that on purpose?
I don't know that it was necessarily on purpose. He just, I mean, it sounded like they just didn't really want to put one in this year, and the rules don't say that you have to.
Right.
So yes, I guess that would be on purpose.
Right. Smoked over the glove of Chatinier out into right field. Another run comes in. And R.J. Austin would be the difference in this one. He's at third base. And it's 11-2. Matthew Polk back in, 2 for 3. A homer, a couple of RBIs, has scored a run. And that will be the difference in the game right there. That should do it in the new 10-run rule, as it's 12-2. Ole Miss not used to this.
No, it's one thing to get walked off. It's another thing to get walked off in the 8th because it's a 10-run game. Not exactly what Mike Bianco and his crew was looking for today. They just kind of got beaten every facet. But for Vandy, man, there's a lot of positives that come out of this. Carter Holden was outstanding on the mound. Their offense was different than we've seen this offense be for a lot of the year now. 6 home runs in the last 2 games, and man, their defense was spectacular. That was all around as good as you could do it for Vandy.
Well, Good night for Vanderbilt as they start off the 2023 SEC regular season with a 10-run win over the defending national champs. 12-2 our final score. So for Kyle Peterson, the rest of our exceptional crew, so glad you could join us. A lot more college baseball coming up the next few months. Sit back and enjoy, folks. We're just getting cranked up. I'm Dave Neal saying so long. Have a good night and a good weekend, everybody.